Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well. And today, thank you again so much for everyone understanding my past week, which has been very up and down with the sickness. I'm still dealing with stuff, but I feel much better today than I did yesterday. Yesterday, I was dealing with random headaches. Haven't had any major headaches today. So thank you again for reaching out. But today's story needs to be discussed, and that is the rumor going around that an A-Force film is indeed in development at Marvel Studios. Brie Larson's Captain Marvel and Natalie Portman's female Thor are both on the roster. Now, of course, Taika Waititi would have a huge problem with this story by the fact that the title of the story mentions female Thor, and she must be known by all people to be not just female Thor, but mighty Thor. Even though we know that she's not Thor, she might have the powers of Thor, but at the end of the day, she's just Jane Foster because Thor is an actual person in the comics and is an actual character, and you can't just change the character. Anyway, a new rumor suggests an A-Force movie is in development at Marvel Studios with a roster that includes Brie Larson's Captain Marvel and Natalie Portman's female Thor. The rumor comes from We Got This Covered, who revealed their source tells them the team will not only include Captain Marvel and female Thor, but will also feature America Chavez as Miss America, Valkyrie, and She-Hulk. Now, let me just start off by saying the fact that they are citing We Got This Covered, I really need to heavily stress the rumor territory here. And that's why I always love Bound in the Comics, because they always clarify whether something is a rumor, whether something is actual verifiable fact or not. I know that A-Force is definitely something they're planning by the very fact that you can just easily look to Avengers Endgame, to the scene when for some reason, somehow, some way, all the females just happen to find themselves together on the battlefield and all pose at the same time, which again, it's a movie, but it's also very convenient that somehow, some way that shot still happened. That all being said, it's very clear from that shot, though, that they were going to probably consider A-Force, and of course, other actresses have talked about it at some point. But is interesting is the fact that We Got This Covered claims to have a source that is claiming to have an actual list of people that are going to be involved with it. In fact, their source tells them the newly announced She-Hulk Disney Plus series will lead to the formation of the A-Force team, which seems to make a lot of sense because one, She-Hulk has been announced for Disney Plus, and two, Disney Plus is going to need to be able to convince people to actually buy their service. I was talking about this with the Flick Pick the other day, and we were both saying, it wouldn't seem logical for them to put a lot of important things happening on the Disney Plus service, because there are a lot of people that probably will not be able to afford it. Even though they're offering it for a pretty cheap deal, they're not going to be able to convince enough people to continue watching all of their shows, all of their series, to stay up to date with the MCU, because obviously the films themselves are going to have some type of autonomy as well. And so the question is, how much of the shows are really in the end going to matter? Are they going to matter like Agent Carter mattered, or like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. mattered, which is not at all? Or are they going to try and give maybe just a little bit more heft to them, a little bit more importance to them? And the question then is, how much importance are they actually going to be given? For She-Hulk to be the place where all of these characters form into an actual team and then have the movie itself get released in theaters called A-Force could be one way to do that. However, I don't really think that's going to help much, because even if She-Hulk is great, which based on the current state of Disney, it doesn't seem like that would be the case, because instead of getting the actual character She-Hulk, we would instead get a 2019 She-Hulk, which nobody really wants, because anytime someone 2019's anything, or any modern year for that matter, ever since all of this crazy stuff's been going on, then at the end of the day, it ends up being something that's more annoying, ends up being more political, ends up being something that most people just don't want to see in a movie, especially a movie dealing with comic book characters. People don't want to be preached to constantly, and it seems to me like She-Hulk, especially under the Disney reign and the current Disney agenda, we're more likely than not try and preach to people, as of course we know A-Force would as well. A-Force might as well be called 2019, 2020, whatever year it's going to come out, the movie, or have something to do with #MeToo, which, as I always try and say, is a good movement as far as people are coming forward and revealing certain things and revealing their stories of things that have actually happened, but is bad because there are some crazy people that have taken ownership of it and have taken control of it and speak the loudest, right? Has been the loudest people talking about it, and all they've done is really show why it's just at some point also annoying, because they're just complaining about things that actually don't matter. They're complaining about things that actually aren't real. They're going beyond just people revealing idiots and revealing sick people to, hey, we're going to tear everything and everyone down, even if they haven't done some of the worst things that the #MeToo movement was trying to go at. And it's that loud group of people exposing things that really aren't that bad, exposing things that really aren't the whole reason why the Me Too movement started in the first place, which was exposing crap, which was exposing people that need to be exposed, but instead is going to say, oh no, we have to say that being masculine is bad. No, no, no. Being an idiot, being an ass, those are bad things. Being a criminal, those are bad things. And those should be exposed and, if possible, should be prosecuted and sent to jail. If anyone, man or female, ended up doing any of those things. But what we can't start doing is starting to demonize masculinity or demonizing femininity. These are qualities and traits that are not inherently evil, right? They're morally neutral qualities, right? Some people can be more masculine. Some people can be more feminine. It is a part of the human experience to have these types of pulls and, pushes and pulls. But to try and demonize one aspect, to try and demonize to call just typical masculinity all to be toxic masculinity is not going to push us forward, is not going to help anyone. And in fact, I think Gillette learned that better than anyone else when they had their toxic masculinity campaign that lost them $8 billion. The reason why it lost them that much money is because, one, no one wants to be preached to, and two, the message that they were preaching was stupid. It was not based in reality. Kids fighting, that's toxic masculinity. No, it's what young boys tend to do. And sometimes girls, but for the most part, again, these are scientific and biological differences. When you talk about averages, more boys are likely to get into fights than girls are. That's not because of culture. That's not because of anything else other than the fact that there are hormones going on in young boys that are not the same as in young girls. But of course, we can't say that, right? We can't say biological truths and biological differences. And the problem, as I've been talking about with this She-Hulk series, and the problem with the A-Force is not that, oh my gosh, you're just hating it because it's a female-led show and a female-led superhero group. Hell no. I've gone on record several times to say how much I love Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. I've gone on record to say how much I love heroes, real heroes like Alita Battle Angel. These are real characters. These are strong characters that are not just political movements, right? And the reason why I have a problem with A-Force, and the reason why I probably will have a problem with She-Hulk, and even She-Hulk, I'm willing to give some benefit of the doubt to, but the reason why I'm even hesitant to do that is because Disney has made it very clear the messages that they want to push forward. They've made it very clear what they want to get out of their comic characters. And it's not telling the stories that fans want to see. It's not telling the stories that fans want to hear. Instead, it's them pushing the agendas that they want audiences to see and want audiences to hear. It's them trying to control the conversation. It's them trying to control the narrative. It's them trying to essentially social engineer the next generation. And it's been very apparent when you break down their most recent films. I talk about this all the time. When you look at films like Wreck-It Ralph 2 or Toy Story 4, what is the message being taught to young children, especially young girls? You can leave everything behind. It doesn't matter who you hurt as long as you're doing what you want to do. That's what's most important, is you finding your own happiness even if you leave others in the dust behind you. That's a terrible message to send kids. It should be, you should try and pursue your dreams, but remember that there are other people that are going to be affected by your choices and by your actions, and that you should be responsible. Whether you're a male or female, doesn't matter, that you should be responsible for the repercussions that your actions might have in life. And some people might say, you're overlooking it. You're diving too deep into Toy Story. They're kids' movies. Exactly. They're kids' movies that are being directed at our kids, and these messages that are in the films are being picked up by them. And if you are going to choose to live in a state of ignorance, you can go right ahead and continue. But I will continue to try and shine light on it because I think it's important that we expose it, because if we don't expose it, it is going to lead to the next generations of kids that are being raised under this Disney umbrella to have and espouse these types of thinkings, to have and to espouse these types of thoughts. And that is not the place of a giant corporation like Disney to dictate what is good, what is moral. Again, that is not their job. It is not their job as a company or corporation to dictate mandates of faith. Again, that's where you have your own faith. That's when you have your own church. That's when you go to and have your own religion. Disney cannot itself become its own religion. SJWism itself is trying to become its own religion, where if you don't follow all of the tenets of it, oh, you are just therefore anathema. You are then one of the worst persons that's ever existed. The difference, of course, is that it's not actual faith. It's not actual belief. Instead, it is psychosis, for lack of a better term. And it's infiltrating all of the series. It's infiltrating every single thing. And until we start to speak out more about it, and until we start to say, screw you, Disney, I'm not going to allow you to continue to corrupt children, to corrupt stories, to fit your own political narratives. Until we start to say no to Disney and no to these things, things are never going to change. And you know that I've said this constantly. But anyway, what else thoughts about this? Do you think that the A-Force movie is going to be, again, as I said, I look at what they've done. I look at what they've done, what their plans are for the future, and I just don't see a place in time. I don't see a place in the future of Marvel where they're going to tell a good story that happens to be female-centric. The problem is that the fact that I've made this video, I'm going to be labeled a sexist. I'm going to be labeled every name in the book, all because I have concerns about the things that they've done with characters in the past and what they're likely going to do with them in the future. And if you don't think, honestly, again, step back from yourself for a second, get your ego out of the picture. If you don't think that Disney and Marvel are going to try and push some social agendas in these films, you have not been paying attention, and you might need to watch Captain Marvel again, because trust me, it's in there. And as someone who had to sit through the film and actually now owns the film because of a fan, Bruce, and I think it's hilarious that he sent it, literally sent me the Blu-ray just so that I could, toss it over my head whenever I wanted to. And don't worry, my dogs were safe from that in the process because I just have great aim. But until we start to wake up to this fact and try to tell others about it, it's not going to stop. So let me know your thoughts about the A-Force series. Let me know your thoughts also about them possibly trying to introduce this into She-Hulk. And also, do you think that We Got This Covered has a good source or not? As I said, I think that it's totally logical for A-Force to eventually happen because that is the direction they're trying to push. We live in the 2019 era. We live in the #MeToo era where it's no longer about actually telling truths. It's no longer about telling the truth. It's all about telling my truth. And if you don't know the difference between the truth and my truth, then you're a part of the problem. But let me know your thoughts about that and all the things we talked about in the comments below. You know this video is going to get a lot of hate because people don't like it when people speak the truth. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, smash that like button, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe. It helps me out a lot. You are all amazing and beautiful people. Thank you for putting up with my illness. I'm going to try and make it up by getting some extra video out either today, tomorrow, or Sunday. 3-day weekend coming up, so I'm very excited for that. We will have a live stream on the channel tomorrow if I am still feeling up to it, which at this point, if the things continue to progress, I should be fine for a live stream tomorrow. Also, check out Gary Nerdrotic's channel tonight where I will be a guest on his live stream. We're trying to do some really cool things over there, so expect some familiar faces and expect a really, 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 really good time as well. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.